Welcome back, boys and girls. And today I want to introduce two great entry rifles for new hunters and the shooter. Yep, you guessed it. Savage Access in 308 and Thompson Center Compass in 6.5 Primo. And this is going to be tough. I'm going to let you know which rifle that I prefer. Okay, first of all, they're both great rifles, but let's do some comparison. The barrel length on the Savage is 22 inches. Compass is 21.6 inches. But Compass comes with threaded barrel, so you could add your own muzzle brake or silencer. So as for the barrel, I would prefer Compass because of the threaded barrel. And I really enjoy this a lot because this really helps me to film and hunt because it reduces the recoil and I could capture video through my scope. Let's talk about the stock. Honestly, Savage has better looking stock. The only thing is the Savage butt stock seems to be a little too narrow for me. That also includes the recoil pad as well. I'm not sure if you could see the difference in the butt stock thickness, but if you look at it, this is very, very narrow. This has pretty good thickness to it. And the recoil pad, Compass is beefier and softer compared to Savage. So honestly, appearance-wise, I would say Savage looks better, but Compass feels better for me. So I have to say they tie. Now let's look at the magazine. Savage is detachable magazine that holds 4 rounds. And Compass is also detachable magazine that holds 5 rounds. Now for me, holding 5 rounds is very important to me when I'm hunting. So as for the magazine, I have to go with Compass. Next, let's talk about the safety. The Savage is 2-stage safety. So you just push forward. Whereas Compass, it's a 3-stage. But I don't like the safety where it sticks out on the side, and this is not very smooth. So whereas the Savage is right where your thumb is and it's much easier to move. So again, as for the safety, I have to call it tie. Now let's check the action and the bolt lift. Savage, once the bolt is locked, it's really hard to unlock it to work the action. That takes some work, but afterwards it moves really smooth. And this is 90-degree lift. And as I mentioned before, I replaced the scope ring to a high profile so that we'll have a better clearance. As for the Compass, it's 60-degree lift. And it's not smooth as Savage, but locking and unlocking is much easier. Now I have to be honest with you, when I'm working the action, Compass is faster because it's easier to unlock and it's only 60-degree lift and you could work it without taking your eye off the target. Now you've seen me taking those 2 deer in a matter of seconds, so when I'm hunting, follow-up shots are very, very important. So let's compare the action. First, Thompson Center Compass. Now the Savage Access. Okay, I gotta be honest with you, 90-degree lift does take longer, but in this rifle, unlocking the bolt, it takes more work and I have to take my eye off the target. So as for the action, I have to go with Thompson Center Compass. As for the bolt action and the lift, I have to say Compass wins. Right here, I want to recommend one more rifle. If you could spend another $100 to $150, I'll go with the Browning AB3. This is light, holds 5 rounds. Bolt lift is 60-degree, and this is the one that I shot at 2 deer about 3 years ago within a matter of seconds, and both were a high shot. This does have much better bolt action. Okay, the weight of rifle. Savage is only 6.3 pounds, whereas Compass is 7 pounds. So as for the weight, Savage wins. Now, for those of you who's recoil shy, you might want to go with Thompson Center Compass because this definitely feels softer, especially with a muzzle brake. Now let's check the trigger. Now let's first talk about the trigger. I love AccuTrigger and I did adjust this down to about 2 pounds. And Thompson Center Compass, when it first came, the trigger was horrible, I gotta be honest with you. An adjustment for the trigger, at least in this model, was not possible, even though they say it should. So I actually replaced the spring in it and became much better. So let's compare them. It's 1 pound and 13.3 ounces. Now Compass is 3 pounds and 2.6 ounces. Now as for the trigger, hands down, I'll say Savage wins. Now one more thing that I do want to mention is that bolt release is important for me because I like things easy, especially if I need to remove it in the field. Okay, for those of you who's been watching my video, you probably know by now, I hate bow release on Savage. It'd be a lot easier if I had 3 hands, but I only have 2 hands. But I'm getting better at it. Let's compare them. Okay, so you gotta press the release button and pull the trigger at the same time when you're pulling out the bolt. For compass, just one button right here on the other side just comes right out. Now even putting it back, we have to repeat the same procedure. As for the bolt release, I have to go with compass. Now, most important thing about the rifle is the accuracy. Thompson Center compass is more accurate without the muzzle brake, at least for me. But I'm not going to take that off because I need this during my hunting season and my hunting season is not over yet. But let's compare it as it is. Now, if you're a beginner and never mounted a scope before, it's not a bad idea to buy the combination where the rifle comes with a scope. So let's talk about that. Now, price on this Savage Axis with a stainless barrel and a Bushnell banner scope, power 3 to 9, costing $575. But without the stainless barrel, you could get it for about $499. Next is Thompson Center compass. This originally came with a Vortex Crossfire 2, power 4 to 12. And I bought this for half a price when it first came out. But now you could buy this combination with a Vortex Crossfire 2 for about $499. So about the same price. And next is the Browning AB3. Now I bought this rifle separately and put my own Nikon scope on it because I had one left over. But you could buy this with a loophole scope as a combination, loophole marksman, for about $699. So it gets a little bit stiffer than this too, but that would be also a good choice. Now between these two, just considering scope, I'll go with the Vortex Crossfire 4 to 12. Because if you're gonna shoot out to about 300 yards, 12 times definitely makes difference. Okay, I'm going to be shooting my 6.5 Thompson Center compass. I have my scope powered at 9. I'm going to be shooting left upper target. But I have this rifle sighted at 50 yards, so it's going to shoot a little high at 100. And that's for my deer season.
Alright, and then shoot the little pole. If you can't shoot the target. Try not to.
Okay, it's just about inch high. Okay, I'm going to try 3 shot with the 100 SST on the right upper target without any adjustment. 3 shot. Okay, second shot.
That shot, yeah.
Whew. That's really tight. Okay, first 2 shots went through the same hole, so I'm getting nervous again. This is the third shot. Okay, I probably have about a 1/4 inch groove. Okay, I think I pulled the last shot with SSD bullets, so I'm going to take one more shot. Okay, this is 100 yards. Okay, that's 3 shot group. As I mentioned, that's pretty great. You can see that lower one has slightly bigger hole. Okay, last 3 shot group right there, that's actually pretty decent. That's probably a little bit over an inch, but not bad at all. Okay, first Thompson Center compass is 0.37 inches. Now, some might argue that the lower might only have 1 hole, but I assure you, it's got a 2 hole in there. All right, let's take a look. Now you could clearly see it. Now the Savage with the SST bullet, this shot 1.2 inches. Last time with soft nose, he shot 1.06. 1.06 inches. Okay, that was really unfair comparison because my Thompson Center compass, I have a better scope on it and also have a barrel stabilizer or dampener. Now, honestly, this rifle, when I first bought it, I was shooting about 1/2 inch with the Hornady Super Performance GMX ammunition. But this was so expensive. Even back then, I was paying close to $40 per box. But I was able to buy this for only $10 a box. The only problem is, with this ammunition, I was shooting about 1.5 inch group at 100 yards. So I decided to add a dampener on it and see how it did. And they really narrowed the group. And I've shot hundreds of rounds with this rifle, so the barrel is really tuned in well. And in fact, this is the first rifle that I was able to shoot this little tiny painkiller at 100 yards. And now you can see why. Now, if this rifle had the barrel dampener with a better scope on and maybe put through about 20 rounds through it, this will shoot about half-inch group. Okay, beside from the accuracy, if I had a choice of two rifles, I would go with a Thompson Center Compass. Now the main reason is because of 60 bolt lift, which is a lot easier, meaning it will give me faster follow-up shots without taking my eye off the target. Whereas with Axis, unlocking the bolt does take a little work, and 90 degree does take a little more work to it. So working the action, my gun is shaking more, meaning I have to take my eye off the target. And the next is the magazine. The fact that this holds 5 rounds, meaning I could have empty chamber and carry 5 rounds. I don't know why this is, but I've never shot more than 4 rounds when I'm hunting. But there's something about having 5 rounds in my magazine that really gives me a sense of security. And even when I'm carrying a rifle that holds 4 rounds in the magazine, I always have one extra one in my pocket. Again, it's just me. So the fact that this holds 5 rounds, I don't carry extra one in my pocket. And again, because I have to film my hunt for you guys, I really prefer to have a muzzle brake on it. And as you've seen it, the recoil is much softer compared to one without the muzzle brake. Again, these are 2 great entry rifles, and you really can't go wrong with either one of them. But everybody has their preference, and I just gave you mine. See ya.